Hello students, hope everyone is doing well and you're practicing maths. So I have got a lot of requests to make a video on divisibility test. This will help you when you are doing any division, also when you want to find out factors and multiples. So let us first understand what is divisibility test. So when we get a big number, say a 3-digit or a 4-digit or some bigger digits, well, without doing the actual division, we will not know whether that number is divisible by the divisor. But to save us time and not to do the whole division, we have certain divisibility tests which we can apply to these numbers and check whether this particular number will be divisible by its divisor. So in today's session, we will see the divisibility test from 2 till 10. If you may think that why not 1, but any number is divisible by 1. So that's why we are not testing for 1. So we'll test for 2. So first we'll see divisibility test of 2. Okay. So how would you know if a number is divisible by 2? It's very easy. You have to just see the number in the ones house. Suppose I have a number 234. This is my ones house. This is my tens house. This is my hundreds house. What is the number in the ones house? 4. We have to check if the number in the ones house is even or odd. Everyone must be knowing what are even numbers and what are odd numbers. Even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12, 14, and thereon. Odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and so on. So if the digit in the ones place or ones house is even, then my full number that I'm considering is even, and if my number is even, it will be divisible by 2. Means the remainder will be 0. But let's take another number, say 157. Let's take a 4-digit number, say 1579. Again we check the number in the ones house. And the number in the ones house is 9. 9 is a odd number. So if 9 is an odd number, this whole number becomes an odd number. And if my number is odd, the number will not be divisible by 2. So the divisibility test of 2 is very simple. Look at the number. If the number is odd, the number is not divisible by 2. If the number is even, it is divisible by 2. And how would you know if a number is odd or even? By looking at the digit in the ones house. Now coming to the divisibility test of the next number, that is 3. What we need to do? What are the steps? Step 1. Add the digits of the said number. Suppose my number is 2, 7, 4, 8. So what are the digits? 2, 7, 4 and 8. We need to add them. So 2 plus 7 plus 4 plus 8. What is the total? 8 plus 2 is 10 plus 7 is 17 plus 4 is 21. Now, this number that we get after adding the digits, is this number divisible by 3? Now we all know the table of 3. So does 21 come in the table of 3? Yes, it does. 3 times 7 is 21. So if this number, the sum of the digits, is divisible by 3, then my given number is also divisible by 3. Now let's verify if it is true, because I just took a random number. So I divide by 3. 3 nines are 27. You can do it along with me. Remainder 0. 4 comes down. 3 ones are 3. Remainder 1. 8 comes down. 3 6 are 18. So this number is divisible by 3. Now let's check another number. Suppose we take another number 1 4 5. 145. What are the digits? 1, 4 and 5. If you add them, 1 plus 4 plus 5, which gives you 10. Now is 10 divisible by 3? Does 10 come in the table of 3? It doesn't. So if 10 is not divisible by 3, then 145 is also not divisible by 3. Now let's verify. 3 fours are 12. 2 is the remainder. 5 comes down. 3 eights are 24. 1 is the remainder. So as you can see, 145 is not divisible by 3. Now let us take the next number. The next number is 4. Now what is the divisibility test of 4? If the last two digits of the number, okay, the number which is formed by the last two digits of the given number, if that is divisible by 4, then my full number is divisible by 4. Let's take an example. Suppose I take 1, 3, 2, 4. What are the last two digits? 2 and 4. What number is formed with the last two digits? 24. Now, is 24 divisible by 4? Yes, it is. You know, 4 times 6 is 24. So, if the last two digits is divisible by 4, then this number will also be divisible by 4. Let's check it out. 4 threes are 12, remainder 1, 2 comes down, 4 threes are 12, 0, 4 comes down, 4 ones are. Now let's take another example. Same 3, 4, 7, 8. The last two digits 7 and 8. What number is formed with the last two digits? 78. Now is 78 divisible by 4? Does 78 come in the table of 4? It doesn't. Why? Because 4 times 20 is 80. So 4 times 19 is 70. So let's try to divide 78 and check. So 78 is not divisible by 4. So this whole number 3478 will also not be divisible by 4. Let's verify. Four times 8 is 32. 2 is the remainder. 7 comes down. 4 6 are 24. 3 is the remainder. 8 comes down. 4 times 9 is 36. So you get a remainder of 2. So is it clear? Let's recap. Whenever we get a number, we will check if the number formed with the last two digits, that is the digit in the tens house and the ones house, if it is divisible by 4, if it comes in the table of 4, if it is a multiple of 4, then my full number, in the number that I am considering, will also be divisible by 4. If the last two digits, if the number formed by the last two digits is not divisible by 4, it doesn't come in the table of 4, then my full number which I am considering, the actual number, that is also not divisible by 4. Let's check the divisibility test of 5. It's very easy. Divisibility test of 5, you already know that in the table of 5, if you notice, 5 times 1 is 5, then 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20, then 5 times 5 is 25, 5 times 6 is 30. So you can see the pattern. The number in the ones place is either a 5 or a 0. A 5 or a 0. So divisibility test of 5 is very easy, just like 2. The others are also easy, but these are very straightforward. You don't have to do any operation. Just looking at it, you can give the answer. So if the number that I'm considering, the if that number, the if the if the number in the ones place in that number is a 5 or a 0, then whatever be your number, the number will be divisible by 5. Okay, so if I take a number, say 13805, it will be divisible by 5. But I take a number 1 2 8 9 7 2, okay, it will not be divisible by 5 because the digit in the ones house is not a 5 or a 0. Okay, or suppose I take a number 1 2 3 4 7 0. This is also divisible by 5 because its number in the ones house is a 0. Okay, now let's check the divisibility test of 6. Divisibility test of 6 is also very interesting. See, 6, how is the number 6 formed? 2 multiplied by 3 gives us 6. So divisibility test of 6 is a combined divisibility test of 2 and 3. So what's the divisibility test of 2? Let's recollect. The number has to be even. What's the divisibility test of 3? The sum of the numbers, sum of the digits of that number should be divisible by 3. So whenever you have to test the divisibility of 6, step 1, check if it is an even number or an odd number. Okay, if it is even number, then you go to step 2 and check the divisibility test of 3. That is, you add up the numbers and add up the digits, and whatever number you get, check if it is divisible by 3. But in the step 1 only, if you see that it is an odd number, you do not need to do the divisibility test of 3, because both should be valid, both should be true. 2, divisibility test of 2 and divisibility test of 3. So the divisibility test of 2 fails, means the number is odd. Then we do not need to check the divisibility test of 3, because even if it passes or it fails, the final number will not be divisible by 6. Only if I pass in the first test that the number is an even number, then I go ahead and check the sum of the digits. Let's take an example. Say 3, 2, 5, 2. Okay. First step, is it even or odd? The number in the ones house is even. So this number is even. It passes the divisibility test of 2. Then we'll go to step 2. Add up the digits. 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 2. What is the total? 3 plus 2, 5. 5 plus 5, 10. 10 plus 2, 12. Now 12 is divisible by 3. Thus, this number should be divisible by this number should be divisible by 6. Let's try it out. 3, 2, 5, 2. 6 times 5 is 30. 2 is my remainder. 5 comes down. 6 times 4 is 24. 1 is the remainder. 2 comes down. 6 times 2 is 12. So we have proved that the divisibility test of 6. Now let's take another number, say 1, 3, 1, 3, 5. Okay. Will it pass the divisibility test of 6? Let's check. The number in the ones house is odd. So it has failed the divisibility test of 2. So we don't even need to check the divisibility test of 3. But even if you check 1 plus 3 plus 5, 1 plus 3 plus 5 will give you 9. Fair enough, it has passed the divisibility test of 3. But see, it has failed the divisibility test of 2. So even if you try to check if it is divisible by 6 or not, let's check it out. 6 times 2 is 12. Get a remainder 1 and 15. 6 times 2 is 12. So you get the remainder as 3. So 135 is not divisible by 6. Okay. We can also check with another example. Say 3, 2, 0, 4. Sorry, not 4. Say I'll take it as 6. So see, what's the number in the ones house? It's a 6. So it's an even number. It has passed the divisibility test of 2. But does it pass the divisibility test of 3? 3 plus 2, 5. 5 plus 6, 11. 11 is divisible by 3? No. That means this number 3206 is also not divisible by 6, because it has failed the divisibility test of 6. Divisibility test of 3. You can try this and you can let me know if you were able to divide it by 3. I mean by 6. So 6 times 5 is 30. Remainder is 2. 0 comes down, 20. 6 times 3 is 18. 2. Remainder 6 comes down. 6 times 4 is 24. And remainder is 2. So we see that this number is not divisible by 6 because it was not divisible by 3. Now let's check the divisibility test of 7. Now the divisibility test of 7 has few steps. In the first step, you have to remove the last number or the last digit, the digit in the ones house. Let's understand it with an example. Say 107 3. The digit in the ones house, that is 3, we first separate it out. So my one number is 107 and the other number is 3. This 3 I multiply it by 2, which gives me 6. Now this 6 I will subtract from the remaining digits, the number formed from the remaining digits. So what is the answer I get? 107 minus 6 is 101. Now I'll continue this step. So the last digit now is 1. So 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. Basically we are doubling the digit in the ones house. And the remaining digits are 1 and 0, it makes it 10. So 10 minus 2 and it gives me 8. So now we check the answer that we get after doing these steps. Is this divisible by 7? Does it come in the table of 7? Or is it 0 or a multiple of 7? If it is 0 or a multiple of 7, then this number is divisible by 7. But here we get the answer as 8, which means that this number is not divisible. Let's check it out. 7 times 1 is 7, remainder is 3, 37, 7 times 5 is 35, 2 and 3 comes down, 23. So 7 3s are 21 and the remainder is 2. So we see that this number is not divisible. Let's take another example. Say 2, 3, 1, 7. What's the last digit? 7. 7 times 2 is 14. The other digits are 231. 231 minus 14. The answer is 217. Again we repeat the step. The last digit is 7. Other two digits are 2 and 1. So 21 minus 14, which gives us 7. So 7 is a multiple of 7, which proves that this number 2317 is divisible by 7. Let's check it out. 7 3s are 21, remainder 2, 21, 7 3s are 21, remainder 0, 7 comes down, 7 1 is 7 and thus 2317 is divisible by 7. Let's now check the divisibility test of 8. Divisibility test of 8 is quite similar to 4. In the divisibility test of 4, we had checked the last two digits, that is the digits in the tens house and the ones house. In the divisibility test of 8, we check the last three digits, that is the digit in the hundreds house, the tens house and the ones house. Let's take an example. Let's say 3, 4, 7, 2. And one more thing we should remember when we are checking the divisibility test of 4 and 8. Make sure you first check if it is an odd number or an even number. If it is an odd number, you don't even need to do the actual divisibility test of 4 or 8 respectively. 4 and 8 respectively. Because no multiple of 4 or no multiple of 8 is an odd number. They have to be even number. Okay. So let's check the last 3 digits, 472. So let's divide 472 by 8. Okay. So 8 5s are 40. Remainder is 7 and 72. 8 9s are 72. So 472 is divisible by 8. That means 3472 will also be divisible by 8. Let's check it. 8 fours are 32. 2 is the remainder. It's 27. 8 threes are 24. 3 is the remainder. 2 comes down. 32. 8 fours are 32. So this number 3472 is divisible by 8 because the last 3 digits, the number formed with the last 3 digits 472, that is 472, is divisible by 8. Okay, let's take another example. Let's say 1756. Let's check if 756 is divisible by 8. Now these numbers I'm taking randomly, so let's check. 8 9s are 72. 3 is the remainder, 36. 8 4s are 32. Remainder is 4. So this number 756 is not divisible by 8. So 1756 will also not be divisible by 8. Let's check it out. You can do it with me. 8 2s are 16. 1 is your remainder. 8 1 is 8. 7 is your remainder. 76. 8 9s are 72. 4 is the remainder. So this number is not divisible by 8 because the number formed by the last 3 digits is not divisible by 8. Okay. Now let's check 9 and 10. The divisibility test of 9 is very much similar to 3. How? We need to add up the digits, the sum of the digits. Suppose I have a number 378. What are the digits? 3, 7 and 8. If you add them, you get 7 plus 3, 10 and 8, 18. The sum, if the sum is divisible by 9, sum is 18, 18 is divisible by 9, 18 is a multiple of 9. So this number 378 is also divisible by 9. It has to be divisible by 9. Okay. So if you check, 9 fours are 36, 18, 9 twos are 18. So it is divisible by 9. Let's take another example. 786. Let's add 7, 8, 7 plus 8 plus 6. So 7 plus 8, 15, 15 plus 6, 21. Is 21 divisible by 9? No, it is not. So let's check if 786 will be divisible by 9. 9 eights are 72. 6 is the remainder. 6 comes down, 66. 9 sevens are 63. Remainder 3. So 786 is not divisible by 9 because the sum of the digits, the number formed by summing the digits, adding the digits, that number is not divisible by 9. Hence, that full number is not divisible by 9. Now let's check 10. 10 is very easy. Again, you don't need to do any kind of calculation. It's just like the divisibility test of 2, 5 and 10. A number, if it has to be divisible by 10, it should have 0 in the ones place. Because if you see the multiple of 10 is 10, 20, 30, 40 and so on. So the digit in the ones house will always have to be 1 for so it will always have to be 0 for it to be divisible by 10. So that completes our list of divisibility test from 2 to 10. Please let me know in the comments what other topics you would like me to explain, and I will soon bring up videos explaining those topics. Thank you. Happy learning.